Alright, let's take a look at this example. We have negative 3x squared plus 13x minus 2 equals to 2. So, as you can see, not all terms are on the same side, especially when you don't have one side that is exactly 0. So before we identify our ABC values, we need to make sure that all the terms are on the same side and the other side is 0. So if you look closely, you notice that most of the terms are on the left side, while I have only one term, which is just a number, on the right side. So I'm going to I'm going to cancel out the right side. So I'm going to simply subtract 2 from the right, and then therefore, since I'm subtracting 2 on the right, I'm going to subtract 2 on the left side of the equal sign. So when I do that, I'm going to have negative 3x plus 13x here minus 4 equal to 0. And the reason I'm subtracting 2 to this minus 2 here is because they're like terms. They're both numbers. Now make sure that if you're trying to cancel out and making one side to 0, make sure that you combine like terms. So if there's another x squared, it has to go with this. If there's another x, it has to go with this term. Since this one is a 2, which is a number, then it can only be combined with this minus 2. So again, make sure you combine like terms. So once you have one side that is 0 and all the other terms on the other side, we can start identifying our ABC values. So A, B, C. So A is negative 3, B is positive 13, C is negative 4. Alright, now it's time to set up my X table, my X chart. And remember, at the very top, it is A times C. And the bottom, B. So, A times C, negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. And my B value is 13. So I'm simply going to look for factors of A times C, in this case positive 12, and then sum or difference. Alright, now when we're looking for positive 12 factors, or factors of 12, so just keep in mind that if A times C is positive and your B value is positive, then that means that the two factors have to be both positive. Now, if A times C is positive but your B value is negative, then that means that both your factors have to be negative. If A times C is positive and your B value is negative, then both factors have to be negative. But in this example, A times C is positive 12 and our B value is positive 13, then that means that both of the factors have to be positive. So I repeat, they both have to be positive. If A times C is positive and then your B is negative, then both terms have to be negative. So make sure you add it into your notes. Especially, it's going to be helpful when you're doing factors of A times C with the sum and difference. So to find factors of positive 12, let's start listing out one factor that we can think of. So in this case, 4 times 3, it will give us positive 12. And then when I combine the two factors, positive 4 and positive 3, it gives positive 7. So not close. Let's try 6 times 2. 6 times 2 will also give us positive 12. But when I combine positive 6 and positive 2, that's 8. Still not close enough to a B value. So let's try one more. Let's do 12 times 1. 12 times 1 is 12. Good so far. And when I combine positive 12 with positive 1, I get positive 13. So I found the correct pair of factors, which is positive 12 and positive 1. So I'm going to write 12x here and then 1x here. Next, I'm going to set up my work. So my first term is negative 3x squared, then plus 12x because it's positive, and then plus 1x. So here, if it's 1x, I can just simply write x. Next, I'm going to write the last term of this part, not the original, but the part where it equals to 0, so minus 4. So I have 3x squared plus 12x plus x minus 4. So I'm ready to start factor by grouping. So this is my left side. So I'm going to identify what's in common. Now be very careful. As you can see, the first term on the left side is negative, so I'm going to have to include negative on my GCF. Now between negative 3x squared and 12x, both of these terms can be divided by 3. In addition, they both have x, so I'm going to include x in my GCF. So my GCF for the left side is negative 3x. I'm going to write negative 3x outside a parenthesis. So I'm going to start dividing. So negative 3x squared divided by 3x is simply positive x. Positive 12x divided by negative 3x will be negative 4, and then close parenthesis. Alright, so let's start identifying factors, my GCF on the right side. At the moment, it doesn't look like there's anything in common between the two terms, when a factor is one factor that can be used between positive x and negative 4, which is positive 1. Now the reason I'm saying positive 1 is because the first term is positive. Had this be negative, had the first term on the right side was negative x, then I must include a negative in my GCF. But in this case, it's just positive. So I'm going to write my GCF plus 1 outside the parenthesis. X divided by 1 is simply x. Negative 4 divided by 1 is minus 4 or negative 4. And then if you look closely, inside the parenthesis, my factor x minus 4, they both are exactly the same. So that means that I can group my GCF together. So I'm going to have negative 3x plus 1 in parentheses. And then I'm going to write my other set, x minus 4. So this is my factors. So I'm going to box this in red. So my answer in factor form is negative 3x plus 1 times x minus 4. Now, if I was looking for solutions, so let me do that part over here. Solutions. Then I'm going to set each factor equal to 0. So I'm going to set negative 3x plus 1 equal to 0. And then I'm going to set the other factor, x minus 4, equal to 0. And then I'm going to start solving for x. So let's take a look at the left one. To cancel out the 1, I'm going to subtract 1 on both sides of the equal sign. So negative 3x equal to negative 1. Then I'm going to divide by negative 3 on both sides to solve for x. So x will equal to positive 1 over 3, or 1/3. Over here, to cancel out the minus 4, I'm going to add 4 to both sides. and it's going to be x equals to 4. So my 2 answer is x equal to positive 1 over 3, or 1/3, and x equals to positive 4. And then let me box that up. So here's my 2 solution, or my 2 answers. X equals 1 over 3, or 1/3, and x equals to 4. So again, you do this part when you're looking for solution.